I'm Robert Plitt, and I work with Evergreen CityWorks.
And I'm John Brodhead. I work at Evergreen CityWorks as well.
There's a growing sense that the affordability of housing is no longer a social housing issue, but rather a much broader systemic issue affecting everyone. You know, there's really a kind of broad spectrum of individual need in terms of the types of housing we need across our kind of lifetimes. And what we're seeing right now across the GTA is a kind of real scarcity of the kind of variety of choice on housing options that people actually require. And so that the idea of affordability for us is, I think, is really intimately linked to the kinds and the types of housing that we're building.
This is affecting a huge swath of the population, and it's going all the way into the middle class. And there's real anxiety at many levels of income around this. And obviously there's a particular problem at the lower end of the income spectrum. But this is really now into a middle class issue. People are not getting, as Robert said, a chance to choose where they want to live. And linked to the congestion issue, people are having to live further and further away and commute further and further to make ends meet. There's a great study by Pembina Institute in RBC, which showed 80% of people in the region want to live in walkable, dense communities. And that kind of is very counter to the narrative of people want to live in the suburbs and they're willing to commute to have a big backyard. It's the reason they're living there is that's what they can afford for the size they want. So there's a real issue at the lower end of the market in terms of people with low incomes finding appropriate and suitable housing for their families.
There's well over 100,000 people currently on a waiting list for affordable social housing. So
103,000 in just Toronto.
So huge numbers. And so these are people who are deeply impacted, who really cannot find decent affordable housing. There's a broad spectrum of need. And there needs to be a broad spectrum of solutions. There's an opportunity for leadership, both at kind of emerging leaders, but also established leaders, to really kind of start to elevate the dialogue and the discourse around housing, and to see it as a public health issue, to see it as an infrastructure issue, and as very much a city building issue.